Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today with my esteemed colleague, MPP Osterhoff, to discuss this impactful announcement. As Parliamentary Assistant to the Ministry of Rural Affairs, I can assure you that rural communities are an important piece of our province and a priority for our government. We are prioritizing rural Ontario by establishing a dedicated, standalone ministry that will amplify the voices of rural communities and address their unique challenges and capitalize on the opportunities that will drive growth and prosperity. Rural Ontario is currently in a period of transformation, carving out a new profile across diverse communities with new people moving in, businesses opening, and new opportunities developing. And that transformation will get a positive boost with today's announcement of an additional $100 million provided under the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, OMPF. Together, we're helping municipalities build a stronger rural Ontario. Our government has a vision to support thriving rural communities in small towns. A strong and dynamic rural Ontario is essential for the success of the province's economy. Each rural community has its unique strengths and challenges. There is a desire to maintain and advance our government's efforts to towns with challenges and turn them into opportunities. The Ministry of Rural Affairs is supporting Rural Ontario, OMPF, and we are very proud to work our government has done to date to stimulate growth and opportunities in all regions across Ontario, whether through housing enabling infrastructure, upgrading our roads, or attracting once-in-a-generation investments with major corporations. Our government is empowering rural Ontario to grow. Today's announcement reinforces our government's commitment to help build stronger local economies, small towns and communities across this wonderful province. The future is bright in small towns and rural Ontario, especially when we work together. OMPF is such a significant investment that 44% of recipients receive 10% of their fiscal budget from our government. With direct consultations, we were able to make changes to this program that will affect 326 municipalities in a positive way. I look forward to watching the OMPF continue to turn small communities and towns into dynamic powerhouses across the province. And with that, I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleague, MPP Osterhoff.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Steve. And I have to say it is a privilege having you back down. This is a fellow who was just elected, what was it?
May 2nd.
May 2nd, okay. And I have to tell you, he's already been taking the bull by the horns. I was down in his neck of the woods, Lambton, Kent, Middlesex, earlier this summer. I had the opportunity to visit the Dawn hub there, where most of the natural gas that we consume is actually stored in these enormous underground caverns that go 1,700 meters, I believe, into the ground, where they store just vast quantities of natural gas. They purchase it in the off season so that the prices are really low, and then they're able to redistribute that during the regular season. It acts as a massive buffer just due to the natural formation of those salt caverns that he has in his riding. Not a lot of places in North America have that natural attribute, and it's a way that we're actually able to avoid some of the vagaries of the international markets when it comes to our natural gas supply here in Ontario. And I was very pleased that he is in the Ministry of Rural Affairs now and doing yeoman's work to make sure that rural communities like West Niagara and so many other communities across this province are being heard. There's 444 municipalities in the province of Ontario, and I think probably the top 10 in size get about 90% of the media coverage that you hear about, and we want to make sure that they don't get 90% of the attention, that a lot of attention is being focused on the over 300 rural municipalities in the province. And I'm very thankful to be able to live in and represent some of those rural municipalities right here in Niagara West. They are amazing places. They're amazing people who live there. And we know that they do have substantial challenges, but also real opportunities coming forward. We've seen a lot of growth here in West Lincoln and across West Niagara over the last decade when you look at the amount of companies who are coming in and investing and adding supports and also investments in our communities that are driving growth and also driving the tax base. But we know that there's been increasing costs associated with infrastructure infrastructure as well. We have massive infrastructure challenges across the province with a growing population, with also aging infrastructure. We had a massive build out of infrastructure after the Second World War. And a lot of that infrastructure is coming up to 60, 70 years and has the need for a lot of replacement. We have also seen an increase in housing challenges, and that's why earlier last year we announced a massive increase to the homelessness prevention program, specifically here for the Niagara region, an 86% increase in funding, going from $11 million to almost $21 million to the homelessness prevention program funding, which it goes to the region of Niagara, but we know also has impacts here in West Niagara as well. So we've seen supports increase for our municipal partners. Back in 2022, we doubled the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund from $200 million to $400 million, almost doubling the annual allocation that was received by smaller municipalities, including West Lincoln, and we're very, very grateful to be able to continue to do more work on that. Now, in 2024, there was a $500 million designation to the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, and this is a fund that provides supports for smaller and rural municipalities, some 390 municipalities across the province. But we've seen, again, increasing needs in these municipalities for greater support. We know that the work that you do, that Mayor Ganan does in this municipality, as well as the council and the staff here in this room as well, is absolutely crucial. And we know, as Mr. Trooper will be sure to tell us, that those pressures are also increasing on that rural tax base. And that's why this past November, we announced an increase of $100 million, a 20% bump up to that Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, which brings the total funding envelope to $600 million. And I'm sorry, Mayor Ganan, but the additional $100 million is not all coming to West Lincoln. I am sorry about that. It would have been a fantastic amount. But the Township of West Lincoln is going to be receiving $1,232,000 in provincial support through this program, which is an increase this year of $186,700. So this is an increase that is going to go directly into the frontline services that people in our communities expect and deserve, and help to defray some of the costs that we know would otherwise be carried by municipal ratepayers. So I want to thank our municipal partners, those of you who are in this room, especially Mayor Ganan and her team, for the work that you do. You are at the front lines of providing crucial care to our communities. It really is appreciated. It means a lot. And when we have members like MPP Pincinot and the Ministry of Rural Affairs with a clear focus on those rural communities, recognizing that the world doesn't end at the Burlington Skyway, but there's a whole lot of Ontario past sort of those urban centers that need to be respected, heard, and valued. I know Premier Ford and our team are going to continue looking at ways that we can continue to support small and rural communities like those here in West Lincoln. So with that, I will introduce your mayor, my mayor, Mayor Ganan. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'd like to begin my remarks today by first of all welcoming P.A. Pincinot to West Lincoln this morning, as he's representing the Ministry of Rural Affairs, and of course the Minister is Lisa Thompson. So I had the pleasure earlier this year in welcoming Minister Thompson herself to West Lincoln when she was in her prior ministry appointment and visiting a local company. We're always pleased to have members of our provincial government visit our friendly rural community, and I must give credit to our local representative Sam for readily inviting his colleagues whenever he has the opportunity to come to West Lincoln, even if they're here for a short time. So I'd also like to short and sweet, exactly. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our own local MPP Sam Osterhoff, now a minister himself, for being present this morning. We in West Lincoln feel that we are well represented by Sam and are always happy to have him join us, either for a special occasion such as this, or even taking part in our local Christmas parade with his family and his staff. West Lincoln is the largest geographic area, we know that, in the Niagara region. However, our population is among the smaller in numbers. We are most definitely a rural community, with boundaries including the city of Hamilton and the region of Haldimand, and also 4 Niagara municipalities, Grimsby, Lincoln, Pelham, and Wainfleet. Each of our borders connects with the rural portion of each of those borders, which really makes us, I feel, the hub of the rural area in West Niagara. Our main urban area, the area where our main portion of our assigned and approved growth is slated to take place by 2051, is this town of Smithville, in which we're now situated. It currently has a population of about 7,000, but alone is expected to make up 29,000 of our expected growth targets of 39,000 people. That, however, means that currently approximately 3,500 homes make up the core of our property tax base. We most definitely appreciate the funding enhancement that the province has provided to small, northern, and rural municipalities through an increase to the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. This fund is critical funding in terms of our municipality, which I stated has a large rural component with high farmland percentages and a limited property tax base. In our township, a 1% property tax increase only provides an additional $97,000 in revenue. It doesn't take much in the area of math to see how important this additional increase of $186,000 to the township's OMPF allocation is as we enter and are just about to begin, of course, our 2025 budget deliberations. This increase will be well used in our upcoming 2025 budget as we face increased costs related to operations and maintenance of our core assets that are used to provide services to our residents. The Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund provides the much-needed support required to allow thriving but small rural communities, such as West Lincoln, to continue to deliver the necessary services to our residents. So I'd like to thank PA Pinsino for your being here this morning, and Sam for you being here. It really is an important part of what we do. We appreciate this announcement. We very much appreciate the much-needed Ontario Partnership Fund, and we are most appreciative of both of you being here today to make this announcement. So on behalf of our municipality, our council, our staff, many of whom are in front of you, and our residents, I thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Can we get a picture of the three of us?